You're listening to Radio Cosmos.
All night long.
Bravo! My compliments, little lady.
Commercial!
Break for 30 seconds.
You are now listening to BaaD Radio.
Hello and welcome to BaaD Radio. BaaD stands for Business at a Distance. This is a show about local businesses and business networking. We are here in the News Radio WFLA Orlando studios from 11 a.m. to noon every Sunday. And I am your host, Angela Smarito. And please join me in welcoming Gavin Bosco. Did I say that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And Dalton Bond, who I know how to say that one because he's a friend of mine, with Suddath Moving Storage to the show today. So, yay.
Great to be here.
Dalton's been here before. Gavin, you have
First
not.
time.
So where did you guys drive up from this morning?
Jacksonville.
Okay.
Yep, that's where our corporate headquarters are. So not too bad. 2 hours straight shot for us.
Yeah, piece of cake, 95.
Well, yes. Yes.
With the big trucks.
Typical traffic, yes.
Yeah, we drove up to Austin, or Augusta, Georgia.
Yeah.
And we got stuck on 95 for a long time, and I forgot how much I disliked it.
Yeah, it's not great, but we're always tolerant of the trucks. We love the trucks on the road. That's a good thing for us.
Actually, that's a very, very valid point.
Yep.
You can't get mad, can you?
No. Safety first, too.
Well, welcome to the show. We have had Dalton on before, and so let's just start off by, Gavin, giving everybody a description of what Suddath Moving and Storage is. And I would like to talk about the coverage area as well.
Sure. So we're part of the Suddath companies. It's kind of a multifaceted company, but our business unit, our division is the moving and storage division. So just what you think that they would do is what they do. Move household goods, kind of white glove services. And we primarily have two business lines that we focus on: private moves, so that's you and I moving personally,
Sure.
paying out of our own funds, and then corporate moving as well. So companies that relocate their employees, they usually have relocation programs. We help support the household goods piece of that. From a coverage standpoint, the easiest, fastest answer is globally. So as long as it's not a U.S. embargoed country, we'll move you there. Anywhere in the United States, including Hawaii and Canada, our Hawaii and Alaska, I should say, Canada as well. So we cover everything. And within the U.S., we're part of Atlas Van Lines. We're an agent for Atlas Van Lines.
Gotcha. All right. And Atlas is a pretty big global.
Yep.
Is it global or national?
It's national. I mean, they also support international relocations as well, but their focus is U.S. domestic moving. So it's I always describe it as almost like a franchisee system. Suddath is an agent, almost like a franchisee.
Sure.
So that's the flag that we fly within the United States. Our trucks will be primarily branded Atlas Van Lines. You'll see the Suddath name.
I saw a
on there.
lot.
Yeah, good. Hopefully, the more you see, the more moving we're doing. You want to see us all over the place.
Yeah, I saw a lot on 95.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So tell me about the infrastructure, because we have Dalton here. Now, I know Dalton because he's in my BNI group. And so I've had the pleasure of him stand up and do his 10-minute presentation. So I got a really, really good glimpse into the amount of what is the right delicacy that goes into making sure that people's furniture is treated really, really well. So like I said, tell me how the structure breaks down from you to how it all goes.
Sure. Well, so my rule is to support Dalton. Dalton, there's a team of Daltons out there. There's only one Dalton.
Oh, I was about to
There's
say.
only one Dalton.
I don't know.
If I could have one more than me, that would be kind of nice.
Yeah, one at home and one at work,
that would
right?
be great, yeah.
But he really is a consultant. So a lot of times people, it's stressful. As everybody says, death, divorce, and moving are the three most stressful things in a person's life. So one of the things Dalton does is he kind of relieves a lot of that stress and anxiety people feel relocating, explains what the process is, how much we can do to support the move. Literally come in the house, pack everything up, move it out of the house so you don't have to touch anything, and then transport it wherever it needs to go and unpack it as well if that's something that our customers are wanting. But it's a process a lot of people, even if they've done it multiple times, still are not overly familiar with. So he and his team are providing consultation from start to finish just to make sure that's a really smooth process. I'm in overseas sales, so I have primarily responsibility over our B2B and B2C sales lines. Yeah,
right.
And Dalton sits on the B2C side.
Gotcha. So Dalton, what does your everyday life look like? I mean, what your main job is to go out there and market your company and actually like bringing clients in, right?
Yeah. So Gavin did a good job of explaining, you know, on a broad overview, okay, that's what I'm looking to do. But really, it's just finding out, dealing with customers on a daily basis.
Oh, that's got to be so fun.
Yeah, you know how it is. And drive new business for the company, and overall the Orlando market is what I focus on.
Orlando,
but dealing
like
with
the DMA or just Orlando.
Well, we can go on to a black hole on that one, but really we'll just say Orlando as a whole, you know. But really just finding out what's important to the customers, what's important to the clients. You know, that's the first question I typically try to ask everybody is, what's the most important thing to you? You know, what we would be doing, what we would be moving.
They're and like grandma's ashes over there in the glass urn.
I got asked last week, can I send my pet's ashes to Australia? And so we have to go in and help these clients and figure this out, you know. So those are real questions that we get, and you never know what you're going to walk into, and that's what I do is discover that, you know, figure out, and maybe it's super easy and they just need to move some pieces of furniture in a few boxes and it's no big deal. But, you know, we come across different things on a daily basis that might require special handling, or if the customer needs
give
storage.
Me an example. Like tell me one of the oddest things that you've had to move. I think about like fish tanks and things of that nature that are so delicate.
Yeah, we've done some fish tanks before. Typically for customers, people are good at handling those themselves and saying, okay, I'm going to relocate the fish or move them myself. So we just have to handle the actual tank once it's empty. Okay. So that's easier. But, you know, some of the bigger things that we see that require special handling are going to be adjustable beds, baby grand pianos, grandfather clocks, things like that. I still see a lot of those on quite a daily basis. You'd be surprised. But do
you disassemble them? And
so, well, we have a special team that we work with that provides those services for us to be able to then move them. So grandfather clocks, we're going to take the weights
take them
out.
Apart?
We'll take care of all of it. Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
We'll facilitate that and make sure there's that. I mean, when you move a piano, there's some expertise involved.
Oh, you're right.
So we have to pull in some of our partners to kind of do that, but we'll facilitate that. Pets, that's another thing as well. You know, we don't put them in the truck or anything like that, but we have specialty service providers that we work with that do all of that. So it is overwhelming if you start thinking about all the details, but taxidermy is always fascinating. There's a lot of creating with that. So people are hunters and have
I've walked into the taxidermy rooms before and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, think about
creepy.
Think about trying to pack it, right? What kind of box are you going to pack it in? You're not. Yeah, we end up creating
deer head.
Right. Right. Well, we crate them, have them crated, so that way they're safely transported and they don't break or nothing happens to them, and people spend a lot of money on that stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Do they have like inflatable foam now that you can actually spray it around it to where?
Not a bad idea.
I don't know.
I'm right. It's my idea first. I'm patenting it. Okay. So I don't. Yeah, like you said, everybody can say you heard it here first. So
put it in a box, spray foam around it. We're good. No.
So, you know, like I think about moving and I can imagine that it is very, very stressful. What are some of the tools? Do you guys use AI at all to help? Because I remember you talking to me about using a digital platform to help quote.
Yes. So I'll talk about what I do, and then Gavin can give like a broad overview. But to survey a customer's home, we utilize AI to capture the weight of the shipment, the size of the shipment, what furniture they have. So I take pictures of what people do
so you
have
go to the
their
house
content.
And take the pictures.
Yeah, I'll go to the house or I'll do a video call with them, take the screenshots, take the pictures, and then we have an AI integrated tool called Yembo that we use.
Yembo.
Yeah.
I like it.
And and Gavin could kind of go on the broad overview for the whole company, because I'm just a small part of what Suddath has with AI.
There's nothing small.
I was going to say
he's a big part of it.
You're not a small person. Yes. You're not. There's no small with Dalton.
No.
So we're going to actually. I want to start this, but then we're going to go to break. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay. And so go ahead.
Yeah. So for us, we're really looking at how can it support the team members that we have, make them much more efficient, so that our people are more focused on more of the strategic, nuanced conversations with customer interaction. And some of the data processing and the manual stuff behind can be more automated. So for us, there's a whole lot we can dive into on that.
Yeah, well, let's do that when we get back. So everybody stay tuned, because we have more BaaD Radio coming up. Oh, welcome back to BaaD Radio. And this portion of the show is brought to you by Body Street of Winter Park. Experience the future of fitness at Body Street in Winter Park. Lose weight, build muscle, tone your body in only 20 minutes a week. Visit bodystreet.us and sign up for your free trial.
We want to pump you up.
That's right, baby. That's the guy. You know what we're talking about over there, don't you?
I need that.
The owner is German, and that was actually him saying that. That was actually awesome. Him saying
Natural
that.
accent.
The best part was he had absolutely no idea why we were making him say that over and over again.
Right. No context, right?
So we're here with Gavin Bosco and Dalton Bond with Suddath Moving and Storage, and we've had a great first half of the show, and so we started to talk a little bit about AI. So I want to talk about some of the strategic stuff, but then I want to get into some of the fun stories. Sure. And we were cracking up about some of the things that I can only imagine that are adult content. But unfortunately, we can't go there on the show. Yeah. But I'm sure there's many of other stories that we can still get to. So, like I said, you were talking about the AI and how you've incorporated it into helping your employees be more efficient, and how. So let's go back into that.
Yeah. So for pricing, it's becoming a powerful tool for us. We're in the process of taking all of our historical quotes, because if you think what we do, it's very line by line. It is think of just in the United States, every zip code to every zip code is a different price, and for household goods moving, the longer the shipment it goes, the more miles and the heavier the weight, the more expensive the move is going to be.
Why is it different zip code? I mean, I get state to state, but zip code to zip code?
Yeah, it's very, very specific. Just because if you move somebody into New York City, for example, there's specialized equipment that's needed for that.
You got to haul that stuff up to whatever the 150th floor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So to really price these things out appropriately and not have pricing discrepancies, you have to have it very pinpointed to the geographic location. So that's millions of pricing scenarios, and it's not anything anybody can come up with off the top of their head with great accuracy. Right. Although our guys are actually really good at giving an idea of what a move is going to cost. Right. We do know that. International is even more complicated. So what we're doing is feeding data sets into our AI learning module, and then creating an agent that essentially will be able to quickly ballpark quotes and estimates for us for people that are just needing to understand whether or not they can budget appropriately for a move. Because that's a big issue for us. A lot of folks don't have any concept of the costs associated with it. Yeah. So we don't want to spend a lot of their time going through the whole process and at the very end revealing a price that isn't even a quarter of what their budget allows.
So Dalton, I bet you're pretty good at eyeballing stuff and giving a good estimate, aren't you?
I was laughing when Gavin was saying that, because I was like, yeah, that's the question I get on a daily basis. Can you just give me what's
the ballpark?
Yeah, what's the ballpark? What's the price? Well, I won't hold you to it, but can you give me a price off the top of your head? And so we get that often, and I just have to explain that, we're coming up with a very tailored solution for the move.
Right.
We take what we do, very serious, safety oriented. Where is it going? Mm-hmm. There's so many different factors involved that go into the move cost and how it's priced. And sure, if you're just looking for something quick or simple, or especially if it's a local move, no big deal. I can provide, numbers like that, or just a couple pieces of furniture, right? But when we're talking about an entire household and a customer wants a full pack or a full unpack,
you're like, it's 100. It's between 100 and $1 million.
That's right. Yeah. So, but like Gavin said, we don't want to waste anyone's time, and so we try to get them to where they need to be to make the best decision they can for their relocation.
Right.
Just to give you a perspective, a Worldwide Employee Relocation Council. That's a consortium that focuses on employee relocation for companies.
So you're talking about when a company decides, hey, I want to take this employee and I want to move him to this branch over here. I don't expect him to incur the cost, and so we're going to hire XYZ, and they're going to do them. Okay,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Most of your Fortune 1000 companies cover relocation costs. Household goods is almost always a staple of that relocation package.
Gotcha.
But based on the data that they collect from their members, which are Fortune 1000 companies for the most part, $16,400 is the average relocate household goods cost for a corporate move in the lower 48 states. So that gives you an idea of where the pricing is at.
Okay. And so you said that accounts for a portion of your business. What are some of the other things that you guys work on? I mean, when you break it up between corporate and individual, what kind of a breakdown do you normally see?
Well, for us, I mean, we think a diverse portfolio is healthy for our business model. So that's one of the reasons that we have these two specialty lines. But even within the B2B specialty line, we do have a strategic sales group, and they focus on a much more nuanced type program. So multi-unit relocation. So think apartment complexes or condominiums that are getting rehabbed. Sometimes you have to pull out all of those household good effects, put them in storage under cycle times. Maybe floor 1 is 1 week, floor 2 is another week. We have a group that's dedicated to just that as well.
Right.
And then strategic partnerships. So we work a lot with realtors and associations that are often involved with folks relocating. We work and try to have referral programs to help one another out.
I can only imagine. It kind of makes my head spin when I think about how many different third parties you guys have to work with in order to get from point A to point B, literally.
It is like, I would say 80% of it we're doing on our own. We're doing it with contained. When you get very unique things, like we do a whole lot of wine transportation. We move a lot of professional athletes. And
you mean like wine cellars?
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Exactly. So you can't just throw that in a truck. There's got to be some specialty wrapping that goes along with that. Sometimes it's got to be refrigerated. So we do work with third-party companies on that. We know who to call for everything that's on the odd side.
Yeah. The cost of I waited on tables in college, and somebody insisted that I open this bottle of wine that was worth hundreds of dollars.
It's terrifying.
I put that sucker between my knees, and
I'd make somebody else do it.
I think I had everybody at the restaurant looking at me, but yep, I got it off. My first champagne thing will poof hit the roof and everything. So that goes on to I like fun stories. So we can have fun moving stories. We can talk about, I didn't hear you made a note about rescue moves. Let's talk about that.
Some rescue moves. So
is that like last minute people are like, oh my God, I got to get out?
Yes. So we see this often. Last minute people, oh, I need to get out. I need to move. We, look at our capacity calendar, see what we have going on. Another big thing is kind of getting into, competitors or other companies that will come in and they're a contractor and they'll kind of bait and switch the customer.
What exactly does that mean? I mean, I get it, but I don't.
So we can go into that, but rescuing them from what is happening with that other company.
I gotcha.
So a lot of times that company will cancel on that customer, and then we'll get a phone call. Hey, my movers were supposed to move me today, and they never showed up. They took took my deposit and they ran.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
People are, you know what?
Happens more than it should.
I know. It does.
I see it all the time.
Lot of industries.
I talked to a customer yesterday, and I had to explain to him why, our price was a little bit more expensive than somebody else. Mm-hmm. And once you do the research on the other company and why it was cheaper, you find out why it was cheaper, and then you see the reviews of they're going to get hit with a more expensive cost on the back end. And so that's where Darren and I had made a note, rescue moves, coming in. And we see that often, like Gavin said, we see it too much. Mm-hmm. And then I see it too much on my end where I'm providing somebody with an estimate. And like I said, they come back and say, oh, well, here's this cost from this customer, from this company. And,
I know. Whenever somebody comes to us in and they're like, well, so-and-so company will do it for this much. And I'm like,
red flag it when it's significantly lower than the other quotes. If you're getting multiple quotes, everyone's within a few dollars of one another, but there's one outlier that's incredibly low. That's a red flag.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Lots of times I just say, okay, well, then run with it.
Yeah.
Deposits, down payments, also red flags that I see on my end.
So you guys don't take deposits?
Nope.
Oh, wow. Okay, you guys make mental note, audience. If your moving company asks you for any sort of deposit, that's a red flag.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Wow. So you don't collect until the shipment's done?
Yeah. Do you can go into that.
Oh, actually, hold that thought.
Yeah,
I just noted. I heard the music. Look at there. So we're going to run to break, and when we get back, we'll have more BaaD Radio. So stay tuned. Well, welcome back. And this portion of BaaD Radio is brought to you by Ground Up Property Services. Do you know what your sprinkler systems did last night? Probably not. So now's a good time to get your irrigation system service by Ground Up Property Services today and ask for a call with Ground Up about a water sensor too, so your lawn doesn't get too much water. That is definitely not a problem right now. Call 407-468-4295 or visit groundupinc.net. We need rain big time. Like, I think that I heard him talking about how it's like the driest it's ever been at this time of the year. So anytime I hear thunder, I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
All right. So we are here with Dalton BaaD and Gavin Bosco with Suddath Moving and Storage. And I don't know why the first show, I had such a hard time saying Suddath.
A lot of people do. Yeah.
And I'm like, why? Why is it? It's not hard. It's a word.
We usually get Suddath is the name, but
Suddath.
What
is Suddath?
Yeah. It's a Dutch name, actually.
Yeah. I think I asked you about it last time.
Yeah, you did.
People have a hard time with my last name too, Smarito.
Smarito,
Yeah, I'm like, think of burrito.
Yep.
Or Dorito.
That works.
Or any sort of thing like that, and then just put a smut in front of it. And so I know one time our daughter, when she was little, I submitted her into like Fox 35 or whatever, weather baby. And I said that. I said, last name Smarito rhymes with burrito. And they actually said that. They picked her. And when they were, so I'm watching, my little girl on TV, and they're like, this is Anna Smarito. Her mom says it rhymes with burrito, but I was like, oh.
Well, locked in for me with that. Now, the burrito thing locks in with me, so it's actually not a bad word association.
Right. Well, Bosco's a cool last name.
It's pretty good. I like it. I do like my last name.
I would too. What nationality is that?
It's Italian.
Is it really?
Yeah, it doesn't sound super Italian, but my uncle was head of the Italian department at Georgetown University years ago and traced it back. It's about 600, 700 years ago. It's actually a Germanic name. Wow. So that's why it doesn't sound overly Italian.
Right. No, that's fascinating. I love history stuff like that.
Yeah,
I could go on that forever. So anyway, let's go back to what we were talking about. Let's talk about the end of that pricing thing and then move on to some fun stories.
Yeah, we can move on to some fun stories. All I was going to mention with the pricing is that for our local moves, we typically collect the day prior to the move to pay, be able to pay the crew. And then for an interstate move, we collect after the packing and loading. So while the items are in transit, and then we have a second option that requires a cashier's check where a customer could pay at delivery to the driver when he arrives to deliver. But just keeping it simple.
Right. I have to commend you guys on all the moving parts. I really do, because when you think about moving, you really don't, I don't think about all the pieces that go into it. So this show really kind of opens my eyes to, you guys would never want to move my house.
We do. We actually do.
I don't think you do.
As long as you're not a hoarder, we do.
I am a collector of
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
I got to see the Harry Potter room. I'll show Gavin.
All right. That's okay.
I do have
Collectors are good, though.
I have a sunken living room that looks like Hogwarts.
Okay.
And it's very near and dear to me. And so...
It's great.
Well, but those are the kind of stories that's the feedback we need when we move people. We need to know, like, what is the most sentimental, important thing of this house that must be taken care of. And that really is key for us. And that's one of the things that Dalton will ask. He'll pass that information down to our professional van operators, who are really like our project managers. And I can't tell you how many stories I've heard of people. One of our corporate clients, she had a move with Suddath, and she showed them a memento that was given to her from her grandfather. I can't remember exactly what it was, but the van operator took such care of this. He didn't pack it in the truck. He hand wrapped it and held it in the cab with him for the entire duration of the trip. When he arrived at residence, and she saw him get out and holding it, just sobbing, because of the care that they took with it. This is it's so emotional what we're doing. It really, really is.
Well, again, that's what I mean. Is like, I didn't really think about that these are these people's lives.
Yeah.
And they're trusting you to take their lives from one place to another. So, it's an eye opener for sure. Yeah,
it's really important. I think, moving with kids is even more complicated, and our crews do a really good job. One of the things that Dalton on the front end will do is make sure that he kind of assesses the scenario. There's sometimes people are moving because of divorce. That's a very different dynamic in the relocation. Sometimes promotions with children makes it infinitely more complicated. And so we want to make sure our crews go out there and are sensitive to anything that might be triggers for folks relocating.
Do you have them, the homeowners on site? while you're packing up?
Yeah, we want them there.
Okay.
We want a delegate there basically to assess and kind of sign off on certain elements of the relocation process. But yeah, you definitely want somebody to be on site while we're doing it.
Some funny stories about that one, huh?
Oh, yes.
I won't go into too much detail, but yeah, divorce.
Oh, come on, tell me a good story.
I mean, divorce cases are tough. I dealt with a few there. One of them, I go out to the customer's house. I did a survey, and the wife's like, I'm getting out of here. I'm moving. So I go through, do the survey, and she's going, this is my stuff. This is my stuff. And the husband was there, but he was very upset, and he wanted nothing to do with me. Nothing. Yeah. Wouldn't even look at me. Why is this other guy in the house? What's he doing? So I give her an estimate. She's like, looking at him, she's like, are you sure while he's here, you got to go too? So I don't talk to him. So a week before she moves, hey, he calls me. I'm sorry that, I treated you that way in the home. I got to go. I need somewhere to move my stuff.
So he used you.
So he ended up using us, and the driver who came to load her shipment put their stuff all together on the same truck.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
And they moved up north, I believe, to Michigan. And she was nice enough. He didn't have a place. She was nice enough to let her store his side of the items in her garage while he did find a place. So
was he just being ultra stubborn? Like, this isn't happening.
Yes.
This isn't happening.
Yeah. And denial, and going through all that emotion. And that's what we see. I see that on a daily basis.
Yeah.
That's just one story of a situation and scenario. But I thought it was, ironic and funny that they were in a divorce case. They both ended up using me and trusting me to move their items. And then it all went to this to the same place.
So funny though. She's like, peace out. And he's like, nope. And then last minute, he's like, okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
Well, there is kind of a confidentiality to what we do, though.
Sure.
On the corporate side, there's a very famous department store. If I said the name, you would know. The ownership of the department store, the CEO of the company who shared the last name, was going to be leaving the company. He took a sabbatical, then was permanently leaving, had not announced it. So his personal assistant, when we went in to do the tour, and it's a VIP, so I went on this with our colleague, and we had to pretend, because they had house staff there, that we were insurance adjusters and we were just doing something for insurance. But we had to go through the house, assess the size of the house, what we call our survey process,
right?
But under a different pretense, because nobody, not even the shareholders, knew the CEO was going to relocate and resign from.
How did they request you to do that? And they're like, "Do you mind pretending that you're insurance agents? Do you mind?"
It's just that they're not. There's times where they ask us to sign non-disclosure agreements.
Yeah,
we'll do that as well. In this particular case, they knew us, so there was a trust factor there. But it is interesting. I mean, there's stories that our colleagues have said. We know celebrity couples that have broke up before TMZ because we facilitated the move out.
So that's kind of exciting.
What we do is extremely important from a confidentiality standpoint in some situations.
Again, never would have thought about that.
No, it's just part. Yeah, another thing that's part of it.
Well, we're in Orlando too.
Yeah.
So we have our handful of celebrities here.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And I've just. It doesn't even have to be a celebrity. I've just had customers call me and say, hey, before you come to my house, do you mind parking here? Or is there anything on your vehicle that says Suddath or anything? And I'm like, no, why? And they're like, oh, well, just make sure you park here. Because they
don't want the neighbors?
They don't even want the neighbors to know. Yeah. And so I follow their instructions on, what they want to have
we
done.
We don't ask questions.
Nope.
We just do it. As long as it's legal, we'll do it.
You know what? That's a great philosophy to have. And again, you guys have really opened my eyes to so many different things that come along with moving people's furniture, their belongings, and even their taxidermied animals. Yeah, and so
that's true.
It is break time again. I can't believe it. So we're going to go to break, and we do have another segment. So everybody stay tuned for more BaaD Radio coming up. Welcome back. And this portion of the show is brought to you by Frogger's Grill and Bar. Looking for a place to go with friends or meet new ones? Then you're looking for Frogger's Grill and Bar, and with 4 great locations, there's bound to be one near you. Oviedo, Mount Dora, Apopka, and Altamont Springs. And be sure to check out Frogger's amazing menu where everything is fresh, never frozen. Frogger's Grill and Bar. Hop in with food and fun.
Yeah, boy!
That's right, baby. Today is a taco special. It's Thursday, right?
Yeah, Taco Thursday.
When people listen to this on the radio, it's a Sunday, so it's a pizza special.
Oh, I'm still going for the black and gold wings, so it doesn't matter what day it is.
Nice.
You know what? The thing is the Froggers keeps their prices low, and the owner, George, is such a stickler for food quality that he just eats it in the margin because he wants the food to be affordable and it to be fresh, never frozen.
That's
Love
cool.
that.
And so,
Awesome.
And you know what? He's made it through all the highs and the lows of the industry, and he's always made it through. So
Restaurant industry is so tough. It's so tough. So kudos to them.
So I'm going to give another quick introduction. We've got Gavin Bosco and Dalton Bond with Suddath Moving Storage. And so we have one more segment. And we're debating, we're like, what are we going to talk about? Because we want it to be interesting, but we also want to get the word out. So, and I'm pretty much straightforward with, my goal with this show is to get people to like you, to know who to call when they're looking for that, and then to be entertained.
Sure.
So that's why I'm like, there's enough talk about, the boring financials of this, that, and the other. What are you going to do with your 401k and all the things that deal with adulting, and that's not my jam.
Sure.
So let's talk. Let's wrap up the financial part, because I think that you mentioned something about financing, but I can't quite remember. Is that did you want to mention that or no?
Sure.
Yeah. Just super high level. We are one of the only moving companies out there across the country that offers an option for move financing or pay at close. It's tied into a lot of other things, but I'll just mention that's something that we do offer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there was one other thing that you were like, I can touch on briefly too. So
yeah, on the corporate side, we're getting a lot of global mobility leaders that have initiatives within their organization to kind of mitigate their impact on the environment. So
very nice.
Yeah, this is kind of a cool thing. So we've actually been recycling the boxes that we use for decades before it was in vogue, just because it's just a natural part of what we do. But beyond that, we have a carbon.
That's awesome. You guys should put that on your boxes. Recyclable.
I think they are.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I think they are. But beyond that, the efficiencies of our warehouses and our business operations, that's just good business sense. Anybody should be doing what they can to lower their energy consumption, because it makes things cheaper for them as well. But we've launched a carbon offset program. And so basically what it is we have an algorithm that determines the shipment mode, the type of packing materials that we use based on the weight of the shipment. And it determines what the environmental impact is for that very specific move. Then we take that and put it into an offset and invest around the world in reforestation or other green initiatives.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I hope you guys advertise that.
We do. It's something that really, I would like to take absolute credit for it and think we came up with the idea, but the reality is we've had our global mobility leaders, our customers, say you need to do more than just recycle. What else can you offer? And that the great thing about this is companies that relocate multiple people now at the end of the year get an audited report that shows exactly what their carbon offset is associated with their employee relocations. And it's material to their goals.
Are you held accountable for do they give you goals, and if you go over, you pay fines or anything like that?
Nothing like that. It's not necessarily goal-oriented because it's very specific to the type of employee relocation that's occurring. So if you have a heavier weight shipment, if it's being transported via air or ship, for an international move, for example, that carbon imprint is going to be different.
Gotcha.
So that will be higher. So you really can't regulate it. But what it does do is it helps companies add that contribution to their overall corporate goals in whatever that target is it gets a little bit easier for them to achieve because of the relocation option.
Well, I commend you on that. And like I said, I know that that's a very, very big hot spot.
Yeah.
When society today is what we're doing to take care. Well, everybody, you guys are doing your part. I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Like I said, this has been a very informative show for me, especially because like when you think about moving, you're like, okay, you don't really realize how much stuff goes into it.
Yeah.
And we've got about 5 minutes left on the show, so let's talk about some fun stories.
Oh no, we have time.
Yeah, we're good.
Let's see. Can I tell a nice story?
Of course.
Right.
I love
nice stories. Let's tell a nice story.
Inspiration, funny. I love them all.
one of my favorite moves I did, and I told this in our group and BNI group, and told this story multiple times, is probably one of my favorite moves is I moved a customer that had to they relocated a few states away. I want to say North Carolina or Virginia somewhere, and they lived in Winter Garden, which is close to Disney. And they had about $300,000 worth of Thomas Kincaid artwork.
Oh, wow.
Original, one of ones. So as, anybody listening who doesn't know who he is, famous Disney painter, original painter. And so we had a team come in, create, obviously a ton of artwork for him, and then, pack the house, move the furniture, moved all the crates of the artwork, and everything was there in one piece and beautiful and uncrated there. And so, that was one of my favorite moves I did because, the expense to that artwork, what it mean to them,
right?
Us taking care of it. So again, that was the first thing, I walk in the door and meet the customer and, what's the most important thing to you? So that was a pretty easy answer
Absolutely.
of, well, just wait till we get to the house, so, other than that, that was, probably my favorite move that I've done in my career.
I love that.
Yeah.
What do you guys do? Like, I mean, I'm sure you've been in those situations where it's a divorce and they're like, no, this is mine. Do you just like say, okay, we're going to leave and we'll come back once you guys get your stuff sorted?
I've been on site and seen, customers call the police on each other. Police arrive. Our guys have to take a step back and arguing, furniture being thrown across the lawn, thrown at our guys,
really?
Get mad at our guys. Yeah. So we have to tend to that very gently. And
did you guys put yourself through like karate training or something?
It's just, it is a high stakes scenario. So I think sometimes it can bring out the worst in people, the best in people. One quick story is we had an international move. It was executive. The spouse of the executive was quite difficult. Executive was wonderful. At the pack site, she did not like the color of the nail polish of our lead packer and asked that she be removed from the job because of the color of her nail polish.
I never heard that one.
When they relocated to Peru, they wanted only Chilean labor to move their shipment out and into their house. So
yeah, I had a client that was like that too. That everything was going great on we were doing content shoot until the missus showed up.
Yeah.
And then it just messed the whole thing up, and it was pretty bad.
Those are exceptions. Yeah. Most are great.
So real quick, also, so you guys go you go and flow with the realty industry, and so how does that work for you? And I mean, we're going on an up.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and we were kind of starting to feel some of that, but real estate interest rates definitely impact us. So when the real estate market slows, people aren't moving their house, and you think about me moving. A couple of years ago, my wife and I thought about relocating, and then we thought, we have this amazing interest rate. Why would we move? That is one of the reasons we saw people not moving. Yeah. So I mean, when you're sitting at 4.5, you're like, I'm not going anywhere.
And I want to touch on that real quick and say another thing that I see from my level is when the interest rates get in that area or so, when things get higher, is maybe people still have to move no matter what.
Right.
But they're not willing to spend as much on a solution to make it easier for them. So then you get a lot of DIY self moves, people putting themselves through that. Or again, then this goes to the black hole of the bait and switch companies or companies out there like that with the red flags where they get them for a cheaper price.
Well, you guys, thank you so much for being on the show today. Gavin, it was great to meet you. And I'm gonna let Dalton give all of his contact information since locally he's the one that they're going to reach out to. So go ahead, Dalton.
Relocation consultant, Dalton Bond, 407-590-6228 is my cell phone number, and my email address is dalton.bond@suddath.com.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here today. And a huge thank you to our sponsors. And just a big reminder for everyone to support local.